Hello guys, right before the video starts, I gotta let you know about the limited edition booster packs that are on sale on the Game Crafter right now, the Mystic Islands Mystic Madness packs. You get an extra rare or leader card, so you have a chance to get 3 leaders in a pack, which is absolutely insane. So hopefully you guys do enjoy this video and pick some up. Thanks. Hello everybody, welcome back to another Mystic Islands video. Today we are back for the final faction overview. Today we are doing the Skeleton faction. We already did the Royalty, the Mage, Pirate, Goblin, and Dwarf. So this is the only one left, the Skeleton faction, and it's one of my favorites, honestly. So the overall idea of the Skeleton faction, their playstyle, I guess you could say, is that they kind of work together as mostly creatures. There's not a lot of abilities. I'm not even going to show you the abilities today because they're not very important to the faction. It's mostly creatures, and basically it's very reliant on graveyard. So if you like decks that like to kill your own creatures for your own benefit and actually advance you in the game and try to play the long game that way, this is going to be your type of faction. Now it is vulnerable to actually die early in the game to maybe Goblin or anything like that. So maybe Goblin or Pirate, because they're the quicker factions. But if you're able to survive that long, which most likely you are, over time your opponent's going to start slowing down with their speed, and you're going to definitely be able to overcome them and then win the game. So first off, we're going to start off with the first card. Now this card is Ghostwriter. Now this guy is a 3 attack, 3 defense. And he's pretty standard card until you read his text box there. You can pay 2 to put the top card in your graveyard on the top of your deck. You can only use that skill once on him. So this is a very good way of, having him out here. Obviously, he's already a 3/3, so that's good. But then you can pay 2, and you can bring whatever card is on top of your graveyard on top of your deck. So you're going to be drawing it next turn. So let's say another thing they have here is discounts for your own creatures dying. So this creature right here, Skeleton Arrowist, obviously it's an archer, just a funny name there. It costs 2, it's a 3 attack, 1 defense. When this creature dies, add 1 chaos crystal to your stash. So if you guys know, chaos crystals are the resource, which is the amount up here that you have to pay for this creature. So essentially you're really only paying 1 for a 3 attack, 1 defense, and when it dies you're going to get that extra 1 back. So it's a good way to store up crystals, especially going to help you in the long run of the game. Then the next card we have here for a similar ability is Undead Mummy Spaz. Now this guy does not gain you a crystal, but he is a 4 attack, 2 defense. He costs 3, but it says if you may cast this creature for 2 chaos crystals instead if a Skeleton faction creature enter the graveyard this specific turn. So let's say you have him up on your battlefield. He attacks this turn. He dies. You would obviously gain a crystal for his ability as well, or his skill, I would say. And then because he died this turn, you now can play him for his skill of 2 crystals. These are some cards that have the Decay skill right here in red, which you will see. Now, this skill is pretty important for the skeletons. It can be very useful, and there's a card later I'll show you which can be very useful as well for playing against skeleton decks. But this, essentially Decay, it loses 1 health every turn it's on the battlefield. So if you know the rules, so whoever starts the game, it is their turn, and then it goes to your opponent's turn, and that is 1 round once it goes back to the person who started the game. So essentially this guy will die after 1 round. It's going to take 1 damage after your turn, then after your opponent's, and then once it hits your turn again, it's going to be dead. But you might think, why does that matter? Why is this card even useful at all? Well, it's because it is untapped, so it comes out ready to attack. So you can use it as a chump attacker, which I explained in my last video. Or it's useful anyway because of a card I'm going to be showing you in a second. So you want your creatures to die, and he's essentially going to kill himself. This guy as well is pretty similar. Clumsy Bones. He's a 1 attack, 4 defense. He doesn't come out untapped though, but he will last twice as long because he has 4 health. So that is very good. This guy directly combos with Colossal Bonebreaker, one of my favorite cards in the game. Hopefully you guys do enjoy this art right here. Girlfriend drew this one. Looks amazing. One of the best, most iconic arts in the game for sure so far. Now this guy, Colossal Bonebreaker, costs 7 attack, 6 defense. He's all right for a 7 cost, but where he gets his real value is when you have Clumsy Bones in the graveyard. It says for every Clumsy Bones creature in your graveyard, it counts as 1 Chaos Crystal towards casting this card. So basically, you can run up to 4 commons of the same name in your deck. So you can have 4 Clumsy Bones. Let's say they're all in the graveyard. They count as 1 each. So that's 4. So it's 7 minus 4 is 3. So 3 is left over for you to pay. So you can get a 7 attack, 6 defense for 3 crystals. That is a complete steal. One tiny drawback on this guy is that when he dies, you banish him instead of putting him in your graveyard. But that's not really a huge deal. And then right here, Aged Skeleton Soldier. This guy also very good. Cost 5. X attack, X defense. Now you're probably wondering, what does that mean? And it explains it right on the card for you. So if a card ever has an X anywhere on it, it will usually explain what that X is going to be referred to as. It should anyway. So this creature in particular, its attack and defense are equal to the amount of skeleton faction creatures in your graveyard with a limit of 7. So right now we'll say we have 3 in the graveyard. This guy would actually be banished though, so that doesn't count. So let's say that just these 2 are in the graveyard. So if you play this creature, it is a 2 attack, 2 defense. That's not very good for 5, but let's say over the course of the game, another one dies. Now it gets bumped up to a 3/3, now a 4/4, now a 5/5, and you can go all the way up to a 7/7. So if you play this late game, you're basically getting a very big discount on a 7 attack, 7 defense creature. So yeah, Skeleton Faction, it's very simple of a concept, but it's very useful and it works out very well in the game. The final card I'm going to show you today is the leader for the skeletons. Probably considered one of the best leaders, if not the best. Death Reaper. Kind of very powerful, and I did not mean for that to happen, but it is what it is, and I think it overcompensates for the lack of firepower that the skeletons could have early game. So this guy can play him for either 6 Chaos Crystals or 8 health. He has 10 health base right there. You can tap him every turn to give target Skeleton Faction creature the Decay skill. So this way, this sounds kind of counterintuitive, but let's say you have this creature up on the battlefield. You can put Decay on him to kill him if you need more creatures in the graveyard to play him later. Or if you don't want to hurt your own creatures because they're obviously your creatures, and you've done that enough. Your opponent, if they are running a skeleton deck as well, they may have a skeleton creature on the battlefield that you can just tap and give it Decay, and it'll just slowly die over time, and they can do nothing about that unless they remove the skill from their card now. Also, pay 2 crystals to search your deck for a Skeleton Faction creature, put it in your hand, and shuffle your deck. So it's pretty much any creature you want. So it's a very good leader, just base how it is. Sorry, realized this wasn't even focused the whole time. But you can sacrifice him as well to gain 10 health. So let's say you play him on the battlefield for 8 health. You use up 9 of his health here to block and defend or whatever. Then you can sacrifice him on your turn to gain 10 health back. So you're basically just using your health as a resource in this deck as well, to basically just try to win the game. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the Skeleton Faction. Definitely one of my favorites. Very interesting. Specific style. It's a very good mix-in with any other faction. Obviously you can only have 2 factions in a deck besides neutral as well. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this one. I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Peace out.